When I started filming, I always thought that I was one project away from becoming a major success, and I'd have to write my speech for the upcoming Best Short Film category in the Academy Awards. But man, was I wrong. Story time. Back in high school, I wrote a bunch of scripts and I always thought they were genius. I genuinely thought that I was up to something, but I was just a young, dumb kid at the time. Fast forward a few years later, I finally had the chance to make a film, and I still had that mindset of being one project away from the major success. But it turned out to be doo-doo, and I am so ashamed of it, it is currently 6 feet under the ground. So here are the 5 things I wish I had learned earlier before I made mistakes. Write what you know. When you set out to write something, writer's block is one of the toughest obstacles to overcome. And it becomes a little bit harder when you write about something that you don't particularly know a lot about. If I wrote a film about chemistry, astronomy, or computer science, I'm gonna have to do extensive research on it. It's not like Christopher Nolan knew everything he needed when he wrote Interstellar, or Vince Gilligan may have not known what it's like to be a chemistry teacher with lung cancer. Aaron Sorkin didn't personally know Mark Zuckerberg or Eduardo Saverin. Write what you know. Write about an event that you experienced, a heartbreak that you went through, an obstacle you had to face, a desire you wanted to fill, and realized and learned that maybe it's not what you needed. A story that you can tell that's worth something to you. And then cover it up with something else. Breaking Bad is a story about family, covered in drugs. Interstellar is a story about love in the space genre. Social Network is a story about friendship in the tragedy of Facebook. Write something unoriginal. We live in a world where taking an idea from one source is considered stealing. But if you take ideas from multiple different sources, now that's considered research. And it's exactly what Quentin Tarantino does. Write something unoriginal. Write something that looks different but feels familiar. Write Schindler's List, but in China with Gustavo Fring as the hero. Write Saving Private Ryan, but in Star Wars with Daniel Plainview as the hero. Write Revenant, but as a Western with Lee Chandler as the hero. Although some of these ideas may not work, but at least the idea is interesting enough that it feels different and it might be a little bit easier to write. Write for the budget. Filmmaking is one of the most expensive art forms. It also requires the most people because it is a team effort. So writing a car chase scene, a big battle of armies, or a big drug deal may not be the smartest things, but that doesn't mean that you can't. There are creative ways to go about it. Writing direct like Edgar Wright when he made that Hot Fuzz car chase scene that didn't show the whole thing. Or even the first 2 seasons of Game of Thrones where everything was built up for the battle only to not show it, but the aftermath and the effects of the battle. Or even the big drug deal that was required of Walter White to work for Gus Fring. His wife was delivering a baby and neither was shown, but only the aftermath. Write for the budget so when production comes there's less pressure and you won't be afraid of running out of budget if anything goes wrong. Write. Know your place as a writer. If it's your 4th short film ever, do you think writing the next Lord of the Rings trilogy is possible? But if it's your 92nd script, then maybe it's time to write the next Irishman, you know? Really get to know where you are as a writer, where your skill set lies, so you can learn. Write. When you write, there are many approaches. You can either plan from beginning to end with a sense of structure, or write as you go and let the characters take you on the adventure. Or really come up with a very bizarre title like Ballistic Heartbreak and let that title take you where it really wants to go. The key point here is that you need to find a way, an approach that you're most comfortable with so that when you write, it doesn't feel like a burden, but more fun and exciting. Write every day. Writing every day is one of the hardest things to do, but editing a page of garbage is always better than editing a page of nothing. Write every day. And I don't necessarily mean to have a moment in each day to write. That's way too exhausting. I mean, watch films that interest or inspire you. Read books, play games, listen to music, live life. Take elements from all these mediums until you come up with an idea or concept and let it sit. Let it marinate in your mind until you are so passionate about it and you know for a fact that it is a story worth telling. These are the things that I wish I had learned before actually making films, because the way that I learn is by experience. Although it is a very long and stubborn process, it's how I learn. I come up with an idea that goes on a ride, and I don't know when I cross the line until I get to a certain point where I know for a fact that I'm not supposed to be at. It's trial and error to truly know where I am as a writer. Writing something completely unoriginal by taking an idea and adding my own experience is the one process that I've been able to work with. It has helped me create a slate of films that have all been in the pre-production phase. So now it's not about getting the idea, but actually executing them all. That's all I got for you today. I hope that I made this whole writing thing a little bit clearer, and I thank you guys for watching.